And we are live. Welcome to the process. It is Monday, February 27th. I am Josh Engleman here to break down a 4-game NBA slate on a Monday. Look, I'm not mad about it. I feel like we haven't had one of these for a process show in so long that I just want to be able to dig into each team, take our time, no rush, no fuss. We just have some fun. So welcome back off the weekend, folks. Hope you had a good weekend. I did. No complaints. So nice. We had that 2 days back from the All-Star break. Took the weekend. Now I'm ready to just go balls to the wall for the rest of this week and for the rest of this season. So it's good to have everybody here. Chat looks good. Lots of people here in the morning getting it started with me, having fun. Had some good lineups last night. Didn't work out, but got all the way up to 27th in the main. Shout out to the other boss man, Tom JK. 5-way chopped, I believe, the main contest on DraftKings last night. Just crazy chalk night. We'll touch on it on a little bit because I have lineup study up. I want people to understand how much you should be playing the best plays and how the best players in the world are doing that. And, sometimes you just got to go very, very heavy on the things that look the best. People don't want to do it, but you kind of have to. Whether that was Dame going big, Jokic going big, Naz Reid going big, the revival of Isaiah Joe last night from zero to hero, just incredible. So lots to talk about for today. We'll be here all week. Might as well just get into it. Coffee is here. Very excited for it. Thirsty for a little bit of this gold in my cup. So I hope you guys are joining me for some sort of cheers. Whatever you have that you can cheers with, that would be great. Make sure, though, that you're hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me right here at Josh Engleman on Twitter. That's where you're getting these videos, alerts for the process, strategy shows, contenders videos, prize picks, no house advantage. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff if you want to find it. At Josh Engleman, easiest way. Here we go. Cheers to you guys. Rise and grind. We're here to break it all down. Let's do it. Bang. Whew, that's the best it's been in a very long time. That's very good. By the way, thank you, BetMGM, for being the sponsor of this video. We'll talk about you in a bit when we go to run some crunches. But first, let's get into it. Now, before we do that, let's take a look at last night's slate. As you can see, we had it was way more than 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7-way chop. I think it was, 7-way chop. But Tom got in there. Petty finishes 8th with a unique lineup. That's a tough beat. But Tom and his best friends had Dame, Joe, Dort, Reed, Looney, DiVincenzo, Tari Eason, which annoys me to no end, and Nikola Jokic. Eason getting 28 minutes last night is irritating. Best that I was able to do was 27th. That would have been Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Womp Womp, Joe, Dort, Reed, Jokic, Lillard, DiVincenzo, and MPJ. So that's the best I was able to get there. But I was one of the, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17 150 maxers made a profit of the 55. I was one of them. I was the second lowest, but profit is profit. So 77 lineups cash, got the 27th. But look at these exposures. And I'm going to compare Tom's as well. And I'd like to compare Petty's as well because that's some of the ownership that I look at the most from other players. And this is sorted already based on ownership. Naz Reid in all but one lineup. Same for Petty. 90% for Tom. 50% plus of Lou Dort for both of Tom and Petty. I got to 87. Didn't work out as well as I would have liked it. Joe in 89. High exposure here. Lillard, I had 80. Petty at 97. Tom had 75. You got to put these guys in, man. They graded out as such exceptional plays. I didn't get to as much Jokic. I tend to not get centers as aggressively. Still 31%, came in a bit under the field, went crazy. Tom got up to 63%, which was great. Giddey, we're all in the mid 40s. We can see that we largely avoided some of the higher owned guys as well. We're all three of us under, or like in Petty's case, had no Cam Reddish, all very light on Domantas Sabonis, Jakob Poeltl, Russell Westbrook. So makes me feel good when I see guys that, I strive to play like having comparable lineup construction. Just helps. Petty played 38 total guys on yesterday's slate. I got to 44. Tom had 68. So slightly different mechanism at the bottom. You'll see Tom really just scattershotting at the bottom, whereas Petty really tight, really tight core. Fun slate, though. I mean, it was a wild one. I had no idea that Dame went for 71. I went to bed right after those final lineups locked. Well, actually, I probably went to bed around the end of the first quarter, so I knew it was going well. But fun slate. Just a weird one. Now, today should look probably pretty similar, although we won't have all of the, at least I assume we don't have all of the same ridiculous value. And if you ever want to look and see just how, in general, everybody did, if you search for just the top 236 entries, you can see that Giant Squid had 16 lineups in the top 1%. Royal Pain had 15. Tom had 15. And, those were the guys that they all chopped at the top too. So good to see. I got to 5. I joined Petty and some other of the 150 maxers in at 5. Look, I'll always take 5 shots. I mean, you got to think about it like this. It's random. It's essentially random once you get into that top 1%. And if you know that you have 5 of the 238, like let's say you just have a big bucket covered up with little lottery balls on it, and 5 of those 238 balls in that bucket have your name on it, and you just reach in and grab one out. That's the best that you can do. You're trying to accumulate as many of these as you can every single day so that at some point in time, the math is just on your favor. That's the best that you can hope for. So we're going to do it again tonight. Should be fun. Let's break it down. Here we go. The Detroit Pistons. Oh. Thanks for pointing that out. Boom. Better. How's that? Ryan Skeggs telling me that I'm looking like Wilson. Oddly enough, it's my wife's maiden name. Not first name, obviously. Got to take the fish oil, the theanine, the vitamin D. Give me 1 second. Man, that coffee is good today. All right, let's talk about the Pistons. I didn't even notice that I was covering up my face. It's probably an improvement on the video anyway. Ooh, okay, no Jalen. Fuck this team. We're not even started yet, and it's already awful. Okay, so Marvin Bagley is back. Jalen Duren is out. Isaiah Stewart is questionable. Bojan Bogdanovic is questionable. This is a disaster. Because we already don't know what these idiots are going to do at the 4 and the 5. And now they're just going to make it even worse. So we're going to reproject this entire lineup. We'll start at the point guard spot where we expect to get, 30 minutes out of Killian Hayes. At which point we're going to get something in the neighborhood of 18 around Alec Burks. We're going to get Jaden Ivey also in for 30 minutes. 8 game, good morning. I guess we have to assume that Bojan is in. Going to give him 31. And now is where we complicate everything. So Beef Stew's got the Q tag. Right hip soreness. I'm going to assume that we're getting Wiseman starting. And if that's the case, I don't know, 27 minutes? The real question is going to become do they try to play Nerlens Noel? Oh no, he's injured. Cool. Don't even have to worry about Nerlens Noel. He's just away from the team. That actually makes things a little bit easier. Because now there's actually minutes to go around here. Marvin Bagley, you assume is just going to come back. I'm going to assume that Wiseman becomes Duren and Bagley becomes Wiseman. And then Bagley might play with Stewart. I guess I should look at the rotation from Saturday as well. Ross, no, he didn't. I just don't know how much they're willing to play these guys alongside each other. They didn't do it. They did a weird stagger close of the first half. Foul trouble for Wiseman back to Bagley. So it looks like they did not want to play Marvin Bagley and James Wiseman alongside each other. That's a tricky spot. Those guys did not play a single second alongside each other. Marvin Bagley was the straight backup. Now, I don't think that they wanted that. Wiseman picked up his third foul. They brought in Bagley. He picked up his fourth at the end of his third quarter rotation and then just fouled out. So I think the intention is probably like 26-22 there. And then Beef Stew played relatively normally. Just simply didn't close. They closed with Livers and Diallo to a degree. 1, 2. All right. That Beef Stew rotation is actually very concerning. I'm going to go 26 to Stewart. Man, he played 19 minutes. I'm going to go 24 to Stewart. I really don't trust that. And then that lets me go Boyan for the other 24. Alec Burks minutes are fine. Isaiah Livers was set to play normal rotations. Was the guy that closed. Seems like we can go to something like 25 there. I guess I should have Livers off the bench playing more than Isaiah Stewart. And then we need 18 for Diallo. Who am I missing? Corey Joseph? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, Joseph played like a normal rotation. We're going to give... We're going to go like 4-12 to Corey Joseph. But there's nothing to stop them from playing Bagley alongside of Stewart. And that's where it gets really confusing. Wow, they played RJ Hampton too. All right, I got to get RJ Hampton on this team. Apparently, I just deleted RJ Hampton. I just didn't even... Nope, left him on Orlando. I don't know why that didn't search for him. Now, we got him on Detroit. I'm going to give those extra 4 minutes to RJ Hampton, and that should make things a little bit easier. Boom. Very weird game. Very, very, very weird game. I guess rates do matter for. I guess Bagley's rates can hold. Wiseman in for 20. Boy, I don't even want to see this. The problem for Detroit today is that they're taking on the Charlotte Hornets. And we know how good of a matchup everybody is when they face Charlotte. For the Hornets, PJ Washington is doubtful. He sprained his foot. I don't think that he's playing regardless. Bryce McGowan's, I know, got a new contract. No PJ Washington is interesting. This is a team that hasn't, he's been in for basically everything. Now, he missed Saturday's game. So what was the starting lineup for the Hornets against Miami? Wow, they beat Miami. Wow, they started JT Thor. I know Mark Williams went nuts on the boards. They started JT Thor. Played him real minutes. Okay. All right, so Mark Williams is in for 28. Nick Richards in for 20. That feels about right. JT Thor played 25 minutes. I mean, I guess we assume that he starts again. Played very standard-ish rotation, but they closed with DSJ over him. So they were willing to close with Gordon Hayward at the 4. That does not surprise me at all. So then I think something like 24 minutes for JT Thor is probably the most likely scenario. He had a really weird rotation in the second quarter that I wouldn't expect him to continue. Kai Jones played 11 minutes. I'm going to give him the 10 minutes that I have left over. I actually don't think I'm going to have too much that I need to change here. Svi Mikhailiuk, not a part of the rotation. They did go to more DSJ. That's actually really interesting to know. So we'll get him up to 24 minutes. 37 for LaMelo. Can't go to 38. But apparently I will. We'll go to 38 on LaMelo. We got Terry Rozier in for 35. All right, Oubre's played a couple extra minutes, so let's get him up to 24. Gordon Hayward I have in for 32. That seems about right. So I don't have any additional minutes to hand out to anybody else. We got the extras out of DSJ. That's basically where they were supposed to go, but we're not going to do that. We're going to have 5 spillover minutes to Bryce McGowan's. And from a rates perspective, not touching anything. Going to assume PJ Washington doesn't really drive anything. So as we look at this, we have Mark Williams for 5,900 is probably my favorite in a vacuum play from the Hornets. As we know, we're going to have centers. 3,800, we got to remember, on a 4-game slate, someone like Nick Richards becomes very interesting. Although, yeah, someone like Nick Richards becomes very interesting. LaMelo for 10-3 and Terry Rozier for 6,800 look similar on a point per dollar basis. I think LaMelo looks pretty good. I don't have a ton of interest in DSJ. JT Thor will be certainly viable at the flat min. Gordon Hayward looks solid enough at 6K. There's just a lot to like for Charlotte, and there's going to be a lot to like for Detroit. This is an incredible game environment. Okay, so James Wiseman is a $3,700 power forward center. He's going to be incredibly popular, and he should be. $4,600 Killian Hayes, though, I think is getting slept on pretty big in this spot. I like him. I mean, he's $1,000 cheaper than Jaden Ivey. They're the same fantasy player, basically. Maybe not the same rates, but they get there the same way. Boyan for 6,200 is viable. The real problem then becomes everybody else. Like $4,500 just center Bagley. They've got these guys with the wrong. Bagley should be power forward center. Wiseman should be just center. And then Beef Stew should have them both. Very, very disgusting team. Let's go ahead and let everybody know that. But James Wiseman is the best play out of either one of these sides. James Wiseman is the best play on the slate for game one, at least. But I have a sneaky suspicion he might take that reign the whole time. 237 total on that game, 216 on this next game, Miami and Philly, and then 223, 224 on the final two. This is going to be a slate, folks. Make sure you're hitting that like button, by the way. Let's go to Miami now. 6-point underdogs in Philadelphia, 216 total. I mean, these are like two very different games. For Miami, Q tag on Tyler Hero, great. This dude is permanently questionable. Kevin Love is probable. Kyle Lowry is questionable. Definitely didn't expect that Kevin Love start on Friday. And then he followed that up on Saturday, playing 26 minutes in that same matchup against Charlotte. Another start, just standard starter rotation. Kyle Lowry being questionable, though, is a giant pain in the ass. So let's scratch this rotation and let's try to think it through. Because Kyle Lowry hasn't played in a very long time. I don't think they're going to go crazy with minutes for Kyle Lowry. But we're going to start first and foremost with Bam Adebayo. Going in for 35 minutes. And then no reason to suspect they're not starting Kevin Love. If he played 26 minutes in that most recent game, based on the rotation that he had, I mean, it's just very standard. Like, you know, he played 26 minutes. Seems about right to just continue that path. They actually went to Cody Zeller as the backup center. Or at least as not Orlando Robinson. I have no idea why they would do that. I guess I'm going to turn... I can add him. There's no way he's on I don't have him. There's no way he's on the Utah roster from before the season started. Cody Zeller. There we go. And he checked in as the straight backup right out of the gate. They were willing to close the second quarter, though, with Love, which is interesting. But Cody Zeller was just the backup center to Bam Adebayo. So I'm going to do that again, I guess. Caleb Martin played 21 minutes off the bench. I'm going to give him those 22, and we'll see where we end up after I do that. Jimmy Butler goes in for his 33. There's like very little deviation on him. That lets me then go to Tyler Hero for... I mean, it feels like I got to go 35 here on Hero. Oladipo played 20 minutes both nights. I'm going to have some... Oh, I still got to get Strus minutes, too. Jesus. Max Strus played 18. We're going to give him 20. That lets me get Oladipo in for 20. I get Kyle Lowry in for 24. That leaves me 12 for Gabe Vincent. That I don't like. They got too many bodies now. The problem really is that Kevin Love isn't the backup center to Bam. They really should be staggering those two guys. Because minutes have to go away from somebody here, and I don't know where they're going to go. Because I feel like 12 minutes for Gabe Vincent isn't right. Which lets me think maybe they're cutting Oladipo. But it won't really matter if I give more minutes to Gabe Vincent. If I give 20 minutes to Gabe Vincent, we're not going to get him either way. So I'm going to go with this rotation. And then I am going to pull new Miami rates. Because I think it matters if Kyle Lowry is available. So in games where Lowry started, Butler started, Bam started, and Hero started, $24 games in that time span, by the way. 25% usage for Bam, 25% usage for Jimmy. Kyle Lowry, 752 minutes starting alongside the other big three here. 15.5% usage rate. Crazy. And then Tyler Hero's at 25.5. I'm going to assume Kevin Love is close to himself. And I don't think that anybody else from Miami is going to matter now. From an assist rate perspective, nothing interesting for Bam, nothing interesting for Jimmy. I'm going to assume Kevin Love is just himself. Kyle Lowry is a little bit less of himself. Tyler Hero is also less. And then finally, rebounding. I definitely like Bam's rebounding rate is really low as a starter alongside these guys, and I expect that to continue, especially if he's starting alongside of, well, if Kevin Love is spacing the floor, then maybe he's not. Now, Kevin Love is just going to pull down a ton of defensive rebounds. Who am I kidding? We got to discount Bam's rebounding a little bit. Jimmy stays the same. I'm going to assume Love is just, I mean, he had a ton of boards this past weekend, too. And then I do have to bump Hero just a little bit. Now, this is a terrible matchup, too. My guess is that we're not liking a ton here against Philly. What do we got going on for Philly? Dwayne Dedmon already hurt. Let me swirl my coffee quickly. I feel like my powder is settling a bit. Went to a different chocolate creamer. So good. Or sorry, a different chocolate, like protein, collagen protein. Yeah, I was right. There's a little on the bottom. That tasted so damn good. All right, Philly's at full strength. We kind of know what these guys have been doing now for a while. I am going to redo the rotation just because it's a 4-game slate. Wow, it's already 7 o'clock. Am I taking that long to do this? It's crazy. Crazy. All right, well, we'll kick it off then with Tyrese Maxey's minutes, which seem to be right around 30. Shake Milton, I think, has probably played himself out of the rotation at this point. Played 2 minutes on Saturday. If that was just blowout run, then we're not going to be projecting Shake Milton. He played 1:50 to close the third quarter. We're going to treat Shake Milton like he doesn't exist for a little bit. Joel Embiid goes in for 36. We got a little bit of Paul Reed. And then I'm guessing it's Tucker. Minutes seem to be ramping up a little bit. There's 26. We got to get Niang in for 16. We got Jalen McDaniels, apologies, in for 16 as well. Then I can go to Tobias Harris for 34. 33. 33. We get Harden. Harden and Melton, and that's it? Yeah, so DeAnthony Melton's minutes are the dumbest minutes on the planet. Let's see, who we missing here? So we got to get Harden in for 37, it seems. Leaves me 14 minutes. So who the hell do I need to give those minutes to? That's the real question. I guess it's Shake Milton and he comes back and is a part of this. It's really the only thing that makes sense. It's like, I can't bump Niang. I can't bump McDaniels. I can't go. I mean, Harris has played 34. I'm going to go to 34 on Tobias Harris. I think that seems about right. Maxey feels good at 30. I can't go. I guess I could go another 2 on Tucker. I mean, this is the kind of game for him. Get him up to 28. That leaves me the 11 for Shake Milton. Rates can stay the same. I don't have any changes to make for Philly. So as we look at Philly, Embiid is your best option at 11K. I don't, as usual, I don't have as much interest in James Harden. Tobias Harris back up to 5,300 now. That comical sub 5K price tag is gone. Maxey looks interesting at 5,200. Melton looks like a value opportunity at 3,700. Not a great spot. No overwhelming priorities. If they don't start or their name isn't Tyrese Maxey, you probably shouldn't be playing them. And even then, PJ Tucker is not a guy you're likely to go to. For Miami, even on a 4-game slate, these dudes are impossible. If you want to get Bam, Hero, or Butler, to a degree, Kevin Love, go ahead. I don't think you're playing anything else from Miami. They're the worst team on the slate. I would be shocked if we have one worse than that. We go to Boston now. 2-point favorites in New York, 223 total. My assumption is this is a full-strength Boston Celtics team, but apparently it's not. No Jaylen Brown in this one, out for personal reasons. Derek White is probable. Everyone hates Chris. Why do I know Nightdale? Why do I know that? I have no idea. I don't think that I should. I feel like I was there for something recently, and I don't know why. I guess that makes sense. I feel like I was in Nightdale recently. Could I have been? Maybe I was. I'll have to ask my wife. She would remember. I have no idea. All right, let's do Boston. And let's scratch this rotation because no Jaylen Brown is a thing. That actually matters. You'd be surprised to know that Jaylen Brown carries some weight around these parts. So for Boston, I assume we're going to get Smart, White, Tatum, Horford, Time Lord. So let's get Time Lord in for 29. We'll get Everyone hates Chris. I've got some of my wife's family is in and around the area. Clayton, obviously a little bit more south, but Zebulon and Wendell. So I'm up that area every once in a while, once or twice a year. All right, so Derek White's just going to go back to playing the massive minutes he was playing before now that Jaylen Brown's out, right? Like, that's just going to happen. He's going to play 34, and like Marcus Smart's going to play like 34. And Al Horford's going to play his 31. And Jason Tatum's going to play his 37. And then we get Grant Williams in for 26. Yeah, Chris, my father-in-law lives in Clayton, so that is somewhere that I am regularly. But obviously a little bit north, bunch more family. I don't know the area all that well. I mean, in and around Clayton at this point I do after 14 years of going up there, but extended family, I don't know the area as well. All right, so Malcolm Brogdon then is going to play, what, 28 minutes? That leaves me 21 minutes for Sam Hauser. I mean, yeah, Peyton Pritchard's not going to. They're not going to go to 8-man rotation, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they did go 8-man rotation prior to this with Jaylen Brown out. I don't feel like they're going to do that. What happened to Muscala? Are they just not playing Muscala now? I wonder if they play Muscala today. I think they're going to. I think we're going to see. I'm going to go 11 minutes to Sam Hauser. No, we're going to go 12 minutes to Sam Hauser. 9 to Mike Muscala. Not exactly a ton going on in Clayton, Chris. All right. I mean, I got to grab rates for Boston with no Jaylen Brown in, so that should be an interesting thing to handle. How many? We're just going to say off. Off is easier for this team. So we're going to say Jaylen Brown off. And then we'll say games where... Actually, we'll say on. So who matters for on? Smart, I think, matters for on. Brogdon, Tatum. Let's say Derek White. And let's say at least 2 of those guys are on. That should be a pretty decent sample. Yeah, okay. When at least 3 of Tatum, Brogdon, Smart, and White are on. So basically like approximating a guard run without Jaylen Brown. 448 minutes for Tatum. 37.5 usage rate. That's a big number. Horford, I assume, does very little. Yeah, Horford just maintains his current rates. Derek White is at 17 and change. Malcolm Brogdon is at 21.5. Marcus Smart, 266 minutes, 16.5% usage rate. And then Time Lord just has to get this, but he's very clearly not going to be different. Now, from an assist rate perspective, probably not a lot of changes here. Marcus Smart gets a big-time assist rate bump. I think this basically just puts the ball in his hands a little bit more, lets him do a little bit more facilitation. Tatum actually sees a little bit of a bump. I don't think that's a practical change. You would expect Horford to see a bigger bump, but he doesn't really. And then rebounding should have this should just not matter at all. Yeah, no real changes to rebounding because of no Jaylen Brown. So then we'll go to the Knicks. I assume this looks simple. The only thing that I need to learn about the Knicks is how much has Mitchell Robinson been playing. Went straight into 28 minutes apiece in his first 2 games back. Otherwise, we already know how to project this team. Did he do anything dumb in his rotations? So it was he played 28 minutes in an ass beating. And conceivably would have closed and played 30 or more. What about in game 1 on Friday? All right, so that was just a standard 28. I mean, I'm going to go 29-19. I don't know where. Oh, I typed that in the right spot. That's helpful. 38 for Brunson. I think I'm going to make 37. 37 for Randall. I'm going to make 36. We got 32 for RJ Barrett. Oh, that's becoming a bit of an issue. All right, so in a tight game against the Wizards on Friday, they closed Mitchell Robinson, Brunson, Randall, Quickly, Hart. That is very interesting to see. I got the 26 minutes in for Josh Hart already. I don't really see a scenario where you can go to something different. Quickly is the guy that can fall into more playing time. I'm going to take I'm going to take 1 minute away from Grimes, 1 minute away from Barrett. We're going to get quickly up to 26. Now I just have this one random minute left over, but unfortunately I can't give it to any of these guys. So we're going to hide it on Derrick Rose. Rates don't change at all as we look at this team. Let's look through this Knicks team, which is uninteresting, and you can see it on the screen. Brunson, Randall, Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson are all basically the exact same play relative to salary, which is kind of wild to think about. But you sort of just need to sift through it. Quickly's got a little bit of interest at 5K. I don't really want to go to Hart or Grimes. Hartenstein is not going to look as good as Nick Richards. Tough to prioritize anything from the Knicks in this spot, but here's the problem with the Knicks. One of Brunson, Randall, Barrett is going to be a good play today. Good luck figuring out which one it is. Now for Boston, getting to Tatum at 10-2 looks pretty good. I think he looked a little bit better than LaMelo did. White and Smart both look pretty good, assuming they're getting 34 minutes. Actually, I'm gonna discount both of those guys. I think I went a little too heavy on White and Smart. I'm gonna take Smart down and White down to 33 apiece. That'll let me get Hauser up to 14. That'll soften that a little bit. 5,100 for Time Lord, though, is a very, very interesting price tag. 3,400 for Grant Williams is sneaky interesting. I like him matching up on Randall as well. James Moore, no, I'm not going to get away from free throws props. Anthony Edwards didn't make a single free throw yesterday. I'm going to assume that that's not going to happen a lot. I mean, I like Boston quite a bit. It should come as no surprise that you kind of want to get everybody from Boston that matters. Tatum, White, Smart, Horford, Williams, Brogdon, and Grant Williams. Final game before we run some crunches. The Orlando Magic. And by the way, great start times tonight. 7 o'clocks, a 7:30, and an 8, and then we're done. These are the kind of slates that I absolutely love. I kind of wish there was one more game, but if there was, it would probably be a 10 o'clock start, and that would piss me off. So beggars cannot be choosers. But I will beg slightly for likes. So hit that like button. We're at 180 people. There's Cruncher for when we inevitably get there. 180 people, 53 likes. So we are 40 likes shy of where we should be. Some of y'all seem to be forgetting how to do this. So hit that like button. If you're here, if you're willing to get up and watch this show from 6:30 on, it kind of bums me out if you don't immediately hit the like button. I think it's a low ask. We're a fun community around these parts. Guys, come on. All right, no John Isaac for today. Michael Carter-Williams signed with Orlando. At first, I thought that he had already been there. Please don't let him play today. Let's project Orlando's rotation. I mean, king of all trades, that's sort of what you were expecting, and that's why he was a good play. Naz Reid changed Metu in a gigantic way. But we should not be acting as if that wasn't a really good play yesterday. We're going to take a brief break from Orlando and New Orleans to talk about Chimezie Metu from yesterday. So, Metu, as a whole, in the big FanDuel contest, ended up being 23% owned. 150 maxers owned Metu 25%. Yeah. Naz Reid kind of complicated matters there. If you had Metu, you did have trouble getting into that top section, but that's going to happen when you have the, multiple standard deviation performances from Nikola Jokic and from Naz Reid. But, Naz Reid totally broke everything yesterday. But let's not think that Chimezie Metu wasn't a fantastic play. He almost 25x. It's what you were expecting to get out of him. He basically hit his projection. We had an outlier slate. And if Naz Reid doesn't play, Chimezie Metu is significantly more owned. But because you're getting a guy pre-lock with 34 divided by 5,200. Naz Reid projected for 6.5x on FanDuel. That's just going to be an issue. So it didn't look the same as it did in the morning, but look, when you get a guy like that at $410, that changes the scope. You're getting $3,100 free dollars basically. Anyway, let's do Orlando. Now, good news is we know how to project Orlando. This is a starting lineup that doesn't change all that much. I like this Orlando team quite a bit. I kind of want to do like an Orlando rebuild in NBA 2K. All right, Fultz in for 32. We get Gary Harris. Ooh, yeah, Silent Assassin. I don't know about that one either. All right. Harris in for 26. Franz Wagner in for 33. Paolo Banchero in for 33. Wendell Carter Jr. in for 29. You get Mo Wagner. Oh, they went to Goga. Interesting. Get Mo Wagner straight back up 19 minutes. Kaboom. Get Bol in for 15 here. We get, we're going to say Cole Anthony in for 16. Plus 2 gets him to 18. Jalen Suggs in for 20. 4. Leaves me 11 minutes for... Oh, this would have been the John Isaac minutes. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, holy shit, how am I missing a full person? They just signed Admiral Schofield or something, didn't they? I think they extended him too. Do I just want to give more minutes to Bol? I guess I do. We'll get Bol up to 20, and then we'll throw 6 minutes on to Admiral Schofield. Rates don't change here for me. So that's going to be Orlando. We close it out with the Pels. New Orleans Pelicans. No Zion, no Larry Nance. No Larry Nance is actually very important here. That actually matters quite a bit. So the most recent game for the Pelicans was on Saturday. They lost by 20 to New Orleans. Larry Nance played, to the Knicks, rather. Larry Nance basically played his first rotation, and then never saw the floor again. They ended up going to Willie Hernan-Gomez as the backup center. So we also got 32 minutes of Joval. And that doesn't, maybe that had something to do with Larry Nance. But I think we need to go to like 30 minutes on Joval tonight, or at least 29. Has played 29, 31, and 32 in his last 3 games. I'm going to go to 30 on Joval, at which point buckle up, because I think that Joval is going to break everything. Now, let's project the rest of this team. I'm thinking Joval, unless Joval's salary has already jumped, I think Joval is about to become a real problem at center. So we're going to go CJ McCollum, starting point guard, which we know, 34 minutes. We're going to get BI out there for 35. We're going to get Josh Richardson out there for 30. And then our boy Herb out there for 29. After that, so we got Trey Murphy coming off the bench now. That really limits him. So let's get him to 24. Najee Marshall is limited even more than that. Let's take him to 18. That leaves me 22 additional minutes for Alvarado and nobody. Alvarado playing about 17 minutes here. 5 spillovers to who could just soak those up? Dyson Daniels. There we go. Rates can stay the same. I don't really see many changes that we need to make here. I could not care about Najee Marshall's usage rate. We definitely need to maintain the usage rate on Willie Hernangomez as a backup center, though. So, let's see what this final game looks like. All right. For New Orleans, $6,400 Joval stands out. But, key but, so does $3,600 Willie Hernangomez. So be ready for that. I mean, center between Detroit, Charlotte, pay-ups in Miami, Philly, Robert Williams, Mitchell Robinson, Joval, Willie Hernangomez. Good luck getting center right today. BI looks pretty solid for 8K. Flip a coin between Herb Jones, Jay Rich, and CJ. And then we close this out on the opposite side for Orlando. No real priorities here. Okay, Bol getting 20 minutes is a thing. I'm going to take a minute off of Bol because there's no reason he should just immediately look like a good play. We'll hash that out. But Bol, Mo Wagner backup center nonsense, just sort of like those other guys. There's not an individual priority from Orlando, but just looking at the booms, like you got to expect 2 guys to go over their projections and look pretty good. Well, let's run our crunches, folks. We're up to 206 people in the house. Only 72 likes, so y'all aren't listening. So let's go ahead and let's run our crunches. We'll start it off on the FanDuel end, but first, we got to talk about BetMGM. They are the sponsor of this show, after all. If you want 1 free month of Stokastic Plus Platinum, that gives you access to literally everything that we have behind the paywall. Projections, ownership, boom, bust, all that good stuff. Basically everything but Fantasy Cruncher. Right away, $140 value. You get first bet insurance up to $1,000, which means if you put $1,000 down on your first bet and it wins, you just move forward with that money. If it loses, they give it back to you in bonus bets. You could use the promo code Platinum Sub. You could click the link in the description. You can scan the QR code on the screen. You got to be 21 or over. Please be responsible, folks. And if you've got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, crunch time. Starting it off on the FanDuel side of this one. don't really have a great feel for what's going to get there pay-up wise. Seems like it could be Embiid, but there's so much center value that I think it's probably pay down center and Tatum maybe. Optimal lineup. 299.27. So that's the optimal lineup by 0.32. LaMelo Ball, Killian Hayes, Franz Wagner, Jaden Ivey, Brandon Ingram, Gordon Hayward. Willie Hernangomez has power forward eligibility on FanDuel. That's dumb. Bojan Bogdanovic and Joval. That is just a mishmash of everything. Look, you can see how crazy it is. The second best lineup, hilariously, swaps out Franz Wagner for Paolo, which is great. And then Brandon Ingram for Terry Rozier. So that's an interesting 2v2 where, like, you shouldn't feel good about either side. Now, power rankings on FanDuel. Looking like it's going to be Killian Hayes. And that makes sense. He's a $5,400 starting point guard that's basically a fantasy point per minute guy today. Has he been bad lately? Yes. If he gets 30 fantasy points like he did against Boston 3 nights ago, you are going to be happy that you had him. And he didn't even play that well. 3 of 11. Wow. 1 of 11, 1 of 10, 3 of 11. He was 5 of 32 in 3 straight games, 9 of 42 in 4 straight games. This dude is just booty. Booty. All right, so Killian Hayes is my top play on FanDuel. Brandon Ingram 2, Jaden Ivey 3, Gordon Hayward, Bojan Bogdanovic rounded out. Terry Rozier, Jalen Brunson, Paolo Banchero, Joval, and LaMelo Ball are your top 10 for right now. And then we move to DraftKings. Keep your eyes peeled on our Odd Shopper YouTube channel. After this, I will have my Prize Picks video and my No House Advantage videos. No wins yesterday, unfortunately. Went 2-2 on Prize Picks. For a brief moment, we were looking good on No House Advantage, and then Isaiah Joe scored 30 real points or whatever in the second half. Blew that one out of the water. And then just Anthony Edwards with a real weird game. Just complete disappearance act. That one was weird. And then I had an under on De'Aaron Fox's assists because I took the over on Sabonis. Turns out they both just racked him up. All right, DraftKings Optimal. 285.69. This is the optimal by 0.6. Killian Hayes, Terry Rozier, Brandon Ingram, James Wiseman, Mark Williams, LaMelo Ball, Herb Jones, Joval. Okay. And then we close it out with the power rankings. Looking like it's probably going to be Wiseman 1, LaMelo Ball 2. Eric Broxton, sounds like you were all over this one, man. You beat me to it before the crunch. James Wiseman beats out LaMelo Ball. Ball 2. Brandon Ingram 3. Joval 4. Terry Rozier 5. Killian Hayes, Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris, Julius Randle, and Bojan Bogdanovic rounding it out. Obviously, if Bojan ends up out, we probably unlock like Isaiah Livers and Hamidou Diallo and other weird shit. I think this is a really fun 4-gamer. I'm hoping that it stays the way that it is right now because I don't think that we're going to get anybody that's just like, we're not going to have like 4 or 5 guys that are just bonkers chalk. There's too many very obvious pivots right now where that I don't think that anybody could truly just pull away from the pack. Man, this is a fun slate. Well, folks, we're back for the week. We did take the full hour. Tomorrow's going to be a long one. I think Wednesday's going to be a long one as well. So buckle up for those. But We are back. We got another one in the books. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to BetMGM for being the sponsor. Make sure you're watching all of the content that we have coming out today. I am not on the deeper dive or live before lock today, but you will get me on the strategy show with Adam Scher. By the way, this is the only strategy show that I'm doing this week. How's that? I am only on one. I'm on the strategy show today. I get the deeper dive on Wednesday, but otherwise, you got to pay close attention to my Twitter at Josh Engleman, because I am not on anything really all week. It's all pre-recorded stuff. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. You know where we're going to be. We're back again tomorrow morning for the process round 2 Tuesday edition. But for now, I'm out of here. Peace.